Good morning, friends. I am starting this video on a bit of a somber note. As you may have realized, we haven't posted for the last couple of weeks, and that is because we lost our biggest fan of the channel. Real sad news. Unfortunately, Matt's dad suddenly passed away, so we've just been dealing with that over the last couple of weeks. He was always the first to watch my videos every time it went live. He would always love to hear about all of the junking, about everything that we do. He'd always want to show and tell when I brought stuff back of all of the goodies that I'd picked up every weekend. Every time I did a big buyout, he wanted to see it all. He was honestly the biggest supporter of me, this business, this channel, everything that we could do and what we have been doing. So definitely dedicating this to Craig. Thank you so much for everything. It has meant so much. With that said, there is a bit of gardening going on in the background, so hopefully my mic is picking this up well. I did want to go through what has sold over the weekend. Obviously, over the last 2 weeks, as we've sort of taken a step away from the business, we have changed our processing and handling time. I completely shut the store down for an entire week, not even time away, just completely shut it down. And then over the last week, I've changed our lead time to, rather than having same day handling, it is now 2 days. Surprisingly, that hasn't too significantly impacted our sales. If you recall, a few weeks ago, I was saying that our sales seem to have been slowing down, and they have been slowing down. It was and is a bit concerning. I was hoping that it would pick up more around Christmas or the lead up to. Now that Black Friday sales are currently going on, Matt and I have discussed what we're going to do, and at the point of this video going live, we are going to be doing 50% off any item that has been in our store for over 200 days. We won't be accepting more offers on them, but we will be having it at 50% off just to try and clear out some of that stock, because I need space back. I'm buying better, I'm buying smarter now. So some of this old stuff, like, you should not have stuff sitting in your store for more than 200 days. So this is what we're going to do for a week only. We're just going to have that 50% off sale for all of that older stock. I don't want to do it for any of the new stock, purely because the time, the effort and everything you source it and the price at which I'm buying it for, I haven't factored in the 50%. Plus now that I have to pay GST on everything, because we have finally reached that threshold of over $75,000 in sales in a financial year that we've now had to register. And unfortunately, the way that eBay is set up, you can't charge GST on top of the items, so everything is built in. So whilst you're still having to factor in the price of goods, you're also now having to factor in the price of GST. It's a bit of a pain in the ass. I did actually film 2 Mondays ago now a pick and pack, so I will include that at the end of this video, because I do go through a little bit more into that, and I have some questions that I'd love for you guys to answer, but I will focus on this weekend's sales. We do have 8 that have come through over the Friday, Saturday, Sunday period. Even with the extended lead times, I am sometimes still doing same day shipping. It just depends on sort of what's happening around us. If I have the capacity to, then I am still sort of trying to do the business stuff, but I'm just not currently listing at the moment. Thankfully, I had a backlog of things scheduled up, so they're still rolling out and going live, which is why I think we're still getting sales. I think this week we had about $1,200 in sales, which is absolutely great. There hasn't seemed to have been a punishment yet from eBay for completely shutting down the store for a week, where I was worried we might see some ramifications off the back of that, but who knows, maybe it'll happen in the next couple of days or weeks, which is why I'm hoping the sale might just help increase those sales to still keep on coming through. But let's go through what has sold from lowest to highest this weekend. First up, we have this Adidas tracksuit pants. I can see on the SKU I wrote NA. I'm pretty sure these were council cleanup pants, but I'm not 100% certain. But regardless, there are 0 funds into this. We did take an offer. I want to get rid of clothes, as I've been harping on about for the last few months now. So we accepted $20 plus $9.90 postage, and I'm just glad that these are gone and out of our hair. Next up is another item that we've had sitting around for quite a while. These were also council cleanup pickups. I mean, you know me, I love anything brass. So to see that these little genie candle holder, what do you call them? Lanterns? These ones, the old school ones. A pair of these we managed to sell for $29.95, free postage. So the same amount as the tracksuit pants, just the difference is these we had under free postage and those ones included the postage. Thankfully, Skylanders are still selling for us. And yes, this is from the Gordon bundle. I've always sort of told you guys that any of these with the octagonal bases generally can be worth a little bit more. So if you do pick up a bundle, make sure you definitely check out these figures first. That said, of course, not all of them are worth something. This one just met our lowest metrics. We had her listed for 25, but we did accept an offer of $23.75 plus postage. Again, these ones I'm really happy to sort of try and move out a bit more quickly because I'd love to get as much money to the church as fast as possible. I know that they've said that they're happy for whatever pace we're able to sell it at, but at the end of the day as well, I'm here for a quick flip. They're here to trust me to get them some good money. So as long as we can meet a happy medium, I'm going to keep on doing this, but I'm very excited to see that these are still going on to sell. And another Dreamcast game has gone out the door. These are slowly starting to drip throughout. I'm so glad because I was worried, as you guys might recall, that when we first listed all of these, because they didn't have the original cases, they just weren't seeming to move. Whereas now, finally, I'm starting to see a few more consistent sales come through within these games. So this one has gone on to sell for $24.79. I'll put up the comp so you can see how much it actually went for, plus postage. Again, it's below our normal metrics. I did accept an offer on it. I'm all about just trying to hustle and move things out because we did have the time off. I just want to make sure that the store isn't hindered by that time away, and that we're still making quick sales, good money. Let's just bring some stuff in just in time for Christmas. And this is one of them. Next up, we do have a consignment piece. This is for my friend. She had multiple Call of Duties on the Xbox One. Because none of these on their own are worth a whole heap, I thought better to bundle if someone wants to play through the games and they can get a nice, good deal, and they can obviously get like a bundle of 3 for only $30 plus postage. But for them, it makes it easier because if you're playing these games, I feel like you generally play through them and then you want to play another one, you want to play the next one. So this gives them the opportunity to do just that. I will say though, I am going to have to start rethinking the consignment options, as I've mentioned in the previous videos about my minimum price, because $30 after fees, after shipping, now after GST, then after the split, I've got to make sure that it's still enough money to make it worthwhile for me. So I think something else that I am going to somewhat focus on towards the end of this year is going through all of the consignment stuff, pulling out the lower end, and then going, you know what, maybe I can take this to the markets and try and sell there, or give them back, get rid of them. If they want me to donate, I can donate, but I just got to be cautious that selling something super cheap for consignment is probably not worth my time. I feel like with the Skylanders, because it is for a church, I am happy to take that lower cut. But when it does come to some of my other consignees, I just need to make sure that that balance is there for me, that they're also getting a good price and I'm also getting paid for my time and effort. But this one has been sitting around for a while, so I'm glad to see it finally go out the door. And speaking of Skylanders for the church, another big bundle has gone on to sell. As I've mentioned, we normally start these as an auction, run the auction twice, then if they don't sell, I'll just put it for a flat rate. This one has gone on to sell in the first round of auction that I've done for it. This one as well, it was from the second lot that I got from Gordon, where there was a lot more mix matched random pieces. There wasn't quite necessarily enough of each of the I call them genres. I don't know if that's quite right, but I need a new GoPro. That's actually ridiculous. I don't know how much of that I would have caught before it died on me. Being fully charged, I've only recorded like 15 minutes worth of footage. and it completely kaputskied and said repairing the file. So quick recap. Gordon Church Skylanders. I did a mixed bundle. They have gone on to sell for $30 plus 13, I think 25 postage. Interesting experiment. I think it might be worth just putting them aside and trying to make sure I get enough for each of the different categories, genres, whatever you want to call them, to make an interesting lot rather than bulk bundling, because this has definitely gone on for cheaper than what our usual Skylander bundles seem to go for. It was an experiment. I think I can say it didn't necessarily work as well as I was hoping, but that's the whole point of an experiment, to learn from. So still glad though that this is going out the door. We're getting some money for the church and someone got an absolute steal of a deal. Our second highest sale of the day is for our lovely new consignee Maria, who I did that recent consignment video on. An R.M. Williams leather, I guess you could kind of call it like a passport wallet, travel wallet. It's got even like a place for a checkbook, I think, but super nice brown leather if it wants to stay open. Brand new, never used. The occasional scuff due to age, which has been shown in the photos. This has gone on to sell on an offer. Originally I had it listed for $60, but accepted an offer of $55 plus $9.90 postage. I'm glad that because I did a hustle, I listed everything. Things for Maria have started to go live maybe over the last week or so. So it's really good to see some sales start to come through for these as well. Fingers crossed, everything will fly off the shelves. But because of everything that's happened recently, and I haven't been doing listings, I will need to sit down and just focus on some photos, focus on some listings, and really just pump through some more additional stuff. So much to do. Our highest seller of the weekend is technically not our highest number, but because it is an international order, we do get $30 postage on it. It is, let's see if we can find it. There they are. These two little Swedish candle holders. They're very cute. They're red. You can see there it has its sticker still partially on it, so that's how I knew the brand. These two have gone on to sell for 38 and something or other cents, plus the $30 in postage. This one will probably cost a little bit less than that to ship, so I'll probably have to do some sort of reimbursement for that. TBC on what the actual country is. They are a little bit heavier though, and glass. I will have to do some juicy packing on this. But again, this has only been sitting around since June or July. Paid $5, turning it into 30. It's not too bad, but again, now that this GST stuff has kind of set in, I'm going to have to re-look at a lot of our business policies and models and spending and all of that. Now it's time to go through to the video that I previously shot 2 weeks ago and show you what I sold then and some of the questions that I've had around some of those different items. Please let me know down in the comments, even if you've made it halfway through the video. I'd love for you to shout out, say hi. Let me know if any of the items that we sold recently were good. Also, let me know if you see things in our store that you like. And now enjoy what sold 2 weeks ago. Good morning, friends. I feel like every time I come to you over the last couple of weeks, it's been the same story. We are having a shocking weekend of sales week, end of the month. It's kind of annoying because we started off this month really strong. It was projecting to be our best month of sales ever since we started doing this. And then for the last 2-3 weekends, it just fell off a bloody cliff. So much so that this weekend, or this week in total, we haven't even made $1,000 in sales. But with that said, we did actually have a Depop sale over the weekend, which is always super rare for us. We have been putting on sales for clothing items, shoes, caps, jewelry. It's gotten a lot of watches, but not a lot of traction. And because it is 30% off, I'm less inclined to send an additional offer on top of that. But I feel like sales are all well and good, but only if people know about it. Correct me if I'm wrong, guys, but does eBay push up your listings in the algorithm if it's on sale. If the listing's not getting any traction anyways, are people still going to be able to find it if it's on sale? Like, does that even change the chances of someone finding it? I don't know, but it hasn't really seemed to be helping us this month. I'm really hoping everyone is saving their pennies for November. This month, fingers crossed, will be super strong. We have lined up some markets as well, so we're going to try and hustle and sell some things the old-fashioned way. But let's get through what sold this weekend. As we've said in the past, this is probably the reason that we don't like doing auctions. I think this was a hard one because, again, I didn't know where to start the price. We ran everything, I think, first round of auctions for a bit higher. It didn't sell, so I went, screw it. Let's try the 99-cent auction start rule and see where it goes. And unfortunately, that's what it sold for. 99 cents plus postage. It is these magazines, not magazines, what they're called, comics. Oh. These vintage children's comics have gone out the door for only 99 cents. That's a bit sad. I mean, at least they're light and it won't cost more than $9.90 to post, but yeah, I just don't think maybe this is the best way for us to be moving this sort of stuff. Maybe if it is only going to be a 99-cent auction, it's just not worth us listing. Sad sale first up. I know I said the sale wasn't super helpful, but with that said, we actually have managed to sell some clothing items this weekend, which is generally pretty rare for us. I feel like if you've watched the channel for a while, the only clothing items we seem to sell are either Camilla or sporting items. This one is neither, and we have had it since July 2024. We paid $5 for it. It is, let's see if we can find it, some Levi jeans, 5'11", 32. These ones. These are men's jeans, 5'11", 32 by 32. Have gone on to sell for $25 plus postage. This has definitely started to become a regular on our channel, and that is the good old sale of Skylanders. This one is from the buy that we did on Marketplace, where we got the Wii U and a whole bunch of different Skylander figures. This one has gone on to sell on offer for $25.50 plus postage. We'd roughly be about $2 into it, give or take, based off the rest of the bundle. We're definitely in the profit for this anyways. So I'm happy to see this one go out the door, considering we did get it at the beginning of the year. Now we're heading towards the end of the year. This stuff sort of needs to start moving a little bit faster for us. We are over here because it is, of course, consignment for Henry. This, it's either this one or this one. We have some shoes. Let's have a look-see. They look right. I will double check the this. What does it say? Size 4 Jolt to GS. I don't know if they're the same shoe. We'll have to double check. But these shoes, brand new, in box, have gone on to sell in our sale for $30 plus postage. This one is our Depop order. So I did end up mirroring our 30% off sale on our Depop store that we've currently got going on our eBay store, just to see if that helps push clothes, because we do have the listings cross-listed across both for some of the items. And thankfully this one has sold. We got this forever ago. It would have been like, there was a lovely couple that we were buying a whole bunch of stuff off, mainly video game stuff, and then our last buy from them, they were like, do you want clothing? And we're like, yeah, sure, we'll try it out. It wasn't great. Like, I think they kind of gave us their discounts, but that's okay. There were still some good brands in there, just ideally not what we would have been looking for a clothing haul. But this dress actually is quite a high-end dress. I'd never heard of the brand before, but it has gone on to sell for $34.99 plus postage. Unfortunately with Depop, it does mean that the fees are a little bit higher. So we will be taking home a little bit less, but regardless, because we've had this for so long, I'm just glad to get it out the door. So this one is a fresh purchase. If you guys have watched some of our garage sale videos recently, you did see that we went to a garage sale nice and early to try and score ourselves a PlayStation 4, a PlayStation 3 and a Wii bundle. They also had a whole bunch of video games there. When we got there, we sort of had different ideas on the price and what we were happy to pay. So we did walk away from the consoles, but not without cherry picking a few video games that we thought might go on to sell well. So this is one of the video games that we bought in that bulk bundle. We sort of blindly picked a few of the titles that we feel like sometimes do well, depending on the console, though it can vary. This one, so $5 into $55.55 plus postage, is Minecraft on PS4. This is one that our sale probably didn't help us too much on. I think we overpaid a little bit on this one. We did get it at a Markets. We paid $70 for this, but unfortunately, because it was caught up in our 30% off sale, these shoes, which are absolutely fabulous, they are Christmas, they're brand new in box, Nike, super cool. So did expect them to sell around this time of year, but they've only gone on to sell for $97.99 plus postage. So after fees, after shipping, after the cost of goods, after now the fact that we have to pay 10% GST on everything, we're probably only walking away with like $5 profit in this. So this is also something that I want to talk to you guys at the end of the video, because someone very kindly raised the question in our consignment video. But let's quickly finish up with what sold. Our second highest sale of the weekend was a surprising one. It's a tablecloth. Oh, this is brand new in box. This is actually one that my sister picked out when I dragged her to a garage sale. She said that she knew this designer artist's name. She'd never seen like products like this done by them, but she said that it was a good name. Take a chance on it. I only paid $5 for this, and it has now gone on to sell for $137.75 plus postage. And our highest sale of the weekend was a consignment piece for my friend. I believe this is also part of it, yes. It is a PlayStation 3 and some games, controller, bundle. Pretty good deal. We've actually had this listed for quite a while now. I did send an offer. The person sent us a few questions, answered them all. They were happy to go ahead with the purchase. So this has gone on to sell for $184.50 plus shipping. It does come with 3 controllers, plus all the cables, plus some games. So it's a pretty good deal. I think we originally had it listed for like $210 or something like that, but sent them an offer to try and move it. Thankfully, it has worked, but glad to see that this one has finally gone out the door. We do have a lot of consoles left though, so if you guys are looking to buy a console bundle, let us know, because we do have quite a few different options for the different consoles still left in our store, just in time for Christmas. With only 9 sales going out the door this weekend, not even $1,000 in sales, which is well and truly below our usual weekly sales. I do have to start considering now this really good and really annoying problem that we're having. Thankfully, someone flagged and sort of brought this to my attention on our consignment video that we released last week in terms of GST. So obviously it's a good problem to have, but have now, as of the last fin year, sold over $75,000 worth of stock, worth of items, worth of all these goodies that you see in this store. So that means by like Australian government laws, we have to register for GST as a business. This means now we have to pay a tax on every single item that we sell, which is a nice 10%. The problem is with obviously things like eBay, you can't add GST on as a separate item. You have to build it into your costs. But the problem is, because we're trying to stay competitive, we can't inflate all of our costs by 10%. So that just means that our margins of profit are now going to be even smaller. This also comes into play then when we're looking at how we structure our consignment, because now everything that we sell on consignment also has that 10% tax that we need to pay on every single item. We're sort of tossing up whether or not we add that into the fees and shipping before we split the profits, because I think that probably makes the most sense. Still quite unsure, because we're also going to have to talk to our consignees about how they feel about it. Obviously losing a bit more money is not great, but hopefully because we are having such high sales, it does mean that we're getting a larger audience to our store. This also means that we're going to have to reflect on what our lowest listed price is, because if we start doing, I've spent $5 on an item, I'm selling it for $25, plus then the shipping, the fees, and now GST, we're making even less. So we might have to look at how we restructure our store. I think we're going to have to decide if consignment is the right route to spend a lot of our business time and effort and energy in, because at least whilst we do have the 10% fee, we're zero costs into the goods, so we don't have to balance that out. But I think now, because we've had to register, I'm going to have to do a new stock take, which I was planning on doing anyways, but a new stock take through our store to make sure, one, that our prices are still competitive, but two, does it make sense after how much was spent on it, how much it's going to sell for, after fees and shipping, now after GST, are those items worth our time? I think it's just a question that we've never really had to think about before. As I said, it's a great problem to have because it means that we're selling lots of stuff, but at the same time, it's kind of annoying that we now have to fork out an extra 10% of our sales to give to the government. Let me know if this is a recent thing or if you've had to deal with this in the past in terms of considering GST on your items. I'd love to know, because this is a very new problem for us and I'm not entirely sure how to tackle it for our store. I am hoping sales increase over the next few months. I am hopefully looking at taking some time off over Christmas just to decompress, relax. I feel like we've had a cracking year considering everything and I cannot complain, but I'm also very conscious that it is draining, it is taxing, so I need to make sure that I look after myself first and foremost. I think as well, maybe a reeval of how we do this business, how we do the store, what's next for us, what does the new year bring. But I think I'm definitely going to need a break. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you made it this far, leave a comment down below and we will catch you on the next one. Bye!